మంత్రి కేటీఆర్ మాట్లాడుతున్నారు. ప్రత్యక్ష ప్రసారం ద్వారా చూద్దాం.
Then their decision is made. That's how it has been working over the last 8 years. In fact, not only Amazon's world's largest campus, some of the largest technology companies have their second largest bases outside of the US right here in this city. In fact, the marquee list includes Apple, Google, Meta, Microsoft, of course, which has been here for a while, Uber, my friend Anand Ramurthy is here, Micron, Salesforce, ServiceNow, Qualcomm, Medtronic, Novartis, the list goes on, it's a long list. All of these large marquee companies have done tremendously well here in India and particularly in Hyderabad. In fact, we have more than 500 American enterprises which have been doing rather well. In fact, just this morning, I met the entire leadership team of a company called State Street. Now, State Street, for those of you who are from the US would know very well, is one of the large Fortune 500 companies, a very large behemoth in banking and financial services. They started with 0 employees in 2018. Today, they have 9,000 people working out of Hyderabad. That's how quickly they've ramped up. Not a day passes by without me or Jayesh meeting some large or small or medium American enterprise who's wanting to make Telangana and Hyderabad their gateway into India. Let me also add, while we are at it, since Rebecca is here, in fact, Hyderabad's consul office, issues the largest number of student visas for any consul office in the world. So that's how deep the cultural ties are, that's how deep our people-to-people ties are. In fact, one of the things that Telugus have done very well, Telugus from both states, Telangana and Andhra, have done rather well, is they've excelled in medicine, they've excelled in engineering, they've excelled, some of them even in politics in the US, and it seems to be a growing image for Telugus. I see many of them also doing rather well in spell bees. Whenever I get an opportunity. Our children, by the way, here in India are not doing so well in spelling, so I must tell you that as well. So the people-to-people ties, the enterprise-to-enterprise kind of relationships, and now this philanthropic engagement, I think this is taking the relationship to the next level. So, of course, I thank AIF, Nishant, and the chapter chair here, I think Prashant Lahoti and Rekha, Lakshmi, Jay, good seeing you after a long time. Ravi, Kasturi, Nalini and Raj, Nirmala, and all of you who are the founding members of this chapter here. But I do have an ask. You mentioned the 3 pillars or 3 primary objectives: education, I think public health, and livelihoods. I think these are typically, like Mohan Reddy Garu said, these are the principal asks from the society perspective. And we are doing our bit as a government. We are trying our bit to ensure that we live up to the kind of demand there is from the country, from the state. If you actually look at what India has to offer right now, I was telling the team from the US, India is a very, very young country. In fact, 50% of our population is less than the age of 28. That's the median age. 65% of India is less than the age of 35. So as the world is getting older, India is getting younger. This is, in fact, I can't say this enough, I can't stress this enough. This is the biggest asset India has at its disposal. In fact, one of the things that I keep talking about wherever I go is the human capital, which you mentioned also, and how it can be nurtured and how it can actually help India really jump a few hoops and get into the second world and thereafter into the first world, is something that we all need to focus on, with a lot of synergy. In Telangana, we are doing a few things which I think are in the right place, which I think are headed in the right direction. We have, in fact, the largest number of doctors and the largest number of beds for 100,000 people, for any province in the country, for any state in the country. We have the largest number of that in Telangana. But more importantly, we're also ramping up our healthcare infrastructure. We're setting up a medical college and a hospital in each and every one of our 33 districts. Successfully, we've been able to do a few things when it comes to women's health. The infant mortality has come down big time. The maternal mortality has come down. Institutional deliveries have gone up in Telangana, almost doubled, in fact, from 30% to 62%. And more importantly, education. I know Lakshmi does a lot of good work with, Teach for Change, and Chaitanya, Lakshmi, and the entire team. They do a great job. So we have number of such NGOs, a number of such partners working with the state as well. What I would love to see AIF do is possibly, work with us, work with the government, as opposed to, and the industry, of course, here. And like Mohan Reddy Garu said, raising capital should not be an issue. As long as you deliver on the promise, as long as you're able to actually come out with an outcome-focused approach, outcome-based approach, as long as your metrics, your numbers will speak for you, I think raising money should be the last of the concerns. A lot of people in Telangana have made lots of money in the last 8 years, trust me. I know. The industry has been growing, the wealth has been growing, the state has been growing. Our per capita, in fact, in 2014, was 124,000 Indian rupees. Now, as of this year, as of a few days ago, when we presented the budget, it has now risen to 313,000 rupees. So, a quantum leap, if you ask me. Our gross state domestic product, again, was 500,000 Indian, 5 lakh crores of Indian rupees. Now, as of a couple of weeks ago, it actually shot up to 13.27 lakh crores. So, almost again, a 200+% jump. So it's a growing state, it's a growing country, but the most important thing, like I think BVR Garu said, is we need volunteerism, we need people to contribute their time, not just resources. So one of the things I would like to quote, of course, I'm thankful to Micron for contributing their money towards the much needed ventilators at that point of time. And I'm also thankful to AIF and Matthew for coordinating it. But I love what Salesforce does in Hyderabad, and I love what Benioff does world over. They have a 1-1-1 philosophy. As an entity, as a corporation, they pledge 1% of their wealth, 1% of their time, and also 1% of their products to education, healthcare, and livelihoods. I suppose we could actually make this as a pitch to a lot of the corporates who are in this room and a lot of HNIs who are willing to or wanting to come forward and work with you. I think that could be a great way to measure our performance. That could be a great start for all of us. So compliments, congratulations on choosing Hyderabad, and I just hope that you go from strength to strength, and I hope you inspire other cities also to launch their own chapters. But I hope Hyderabad continues to be right on top. Thank you. Cheers.